KEET TV presents Homework Hotline, the after-school show that fuses learning with fun. Watch local teachers bring the classroom on air and online. This is Homework Hotline.
Hello, I'm Jody Himango from McKinleyville Middle School, where I teach 7th grade science.
And I'm Pam Halstead, and I taught science at Fortuna High School. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here.
We are.
So today, we're gonna do a chemical reaction using a liver homogenate and hydrogen peroxide and salt. And we're gonna see if we can get the salt to inhibit the reaction.
Okay. And then I have a couple questions. First, what is that? I know you said liver homogenate, but what is the less fancy term?
That is a great question. I would say the less fancy term is liver smoothie.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Which is basically water and liver.
Nice.
Beef liver.
Okay. Good.
So
and then the other question was inhibits the reaction. What does inhibit?
So stop or slow down.
Okay.
And then the liver homogenate. So I blended it in the blender, which my blender will be scrubbed multiple times before fruit smoothies go in it.
Yeah.
It'll just be extra protein for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's blended so that the cells break open, and so we can kind of get at the interior parts of the cells.
Oh, nice. That reminds me of when you try to isolate or you get DNA out of a cell. You do a similar thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I've done before on this show.
Yeah, that's right. Did you do it with strawberries?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice.
And I'm going to do it soon in 7th grade too.
Cool.
So that's coming down the pipes for 7th grade.
Excellent.
So let's take a look at our materials list and our procedure.
Okay.
And maybe even talk a little bit about what the liver does. So the liver is responsible for cleaning up harmful substances in our body with the help of enzymes. So today we're going to look at an enzyme called catalase. And catalase breaks down hydrogen peroxide that naturally occurs in our body into water and oxygen.
Okay.
So hydrogen peroxide can be damaging, but you found out it can also be
helpful, beneficial.
Right.
Good for you. So yeah, they're also, the other term for these is like free radicals, or things that are like running around your body that could break down DNA and do some nasty things. And that does occur, but then there's also some things about it that are helpful. So yeah.
Nice.
That's good to know.
So there's a little bit in our bodies. We use some of it our body gets rid of. So here's our materials list. We've got the liver cell homogenate, which we already talked about. So if you wanted to do this at home, it's about 1/4 pound liver to 400 milliliters of water. Okay. And you can buy the liver, I'm using beef liver, but you can buy it at the grocery store.
Yes.
I found mine in the freezer section.
Good. Yes, that's where I get chicken livers for my cats. And yes, same thing.
And humans eat this, but
yes,
animals eat it too.
Yes.
We have a graduated cylinder to measure out our hydrogen peroxide. We need 10 milliliters of that. We have a 2% salt solution, which I already mixed up in this reusable container. So just water and salt. We have test tubes, a test tube rack, a spot plate. And a spot plate is basically like for small chemical reactions when you don't need much, and the little holes or the little indentations are called wells. Yes. So we're going to do some of the reaction in the wells before transferring stuff into the test tubes. And then, if I didn't say this, we're going to use balloons to capture the oxygen from the reaction, and we're going to time it. So as a way to measure, rather than trying to measure volume or something like that, we're going to time how quickly the balloons fill.
Okay, so the faster they fill, the faster the reaction.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we have a pipette, a non-fancy pipette, because I teach middle school, which is basically an eyedropper.
Yes, yes, the other term.
Yes. So let's get started.
All right, let's do it.
Let's see. This is pretty cool. And this is, one of the reasons we have warm bodies is because of chemical reactions that occur in our body.
Yes.
And I did not take the temperature of this reaction, but it does heat up the test tube. And if I had to take a guess, I would think it's pretty close to body temperature.
Yes.
It feels about that warm.
And I was reading that the results of aerobic respiration, which is just you breaking your food down, produces the thing that we're going to be breaking down. So that produces the hydrogen peroxide that's going to
Okay.
be broken down. So that it's like that's where it's coming from. If you wonder how are we getting hydrogen peroxide, that's pure stuff, but this is like what your body makes inside of you.
Nice. So here's step one is we're gonna add 15 drops of the liver homogenate, and there's a little bit of foam on top.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna wanna avoid that.
Avoid the foam.
Avoid the foam.
Okay.
So that we get nice fat drops.
Okay.
So do you
want me to
feel
do it?
comfortable? Yeah,
I'd be
you
happy
could.
to
You
do
could
it.
totally do it.
Okay.
I did this last week in 7th grade, so I've done this many, many,
Yes,
many
15
times.
drops, correct?
15 drops.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Lucky whoa! That was
And the drops are about 1 milliliter each.
Okay.
So we'll have about 15, approximately 15 milliliters in
Okay.
each well.
okay.
So
Nice.
11 more times.
11 more. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I should have brought a longer
5,
pipette.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And then while she's counting that out, what we're going to do is we're going to add salt solution
Okay.
to the wells as well. And we're going to let the salt sit with the liver cells, or the broken open liver cells, for 4 minutes to start kind of like working its salty magic on the cells. And we're going to do 0 drops for a control, all the way up to 12 drops
Okay.
of salt solution.
Okay. Oops, I don't know if I got any. There we go. Oh no, I'm getting less. I have to go through
And
the
I
foam.
did bring paper towels if your hands get livery.
Thank you. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's almost perfect if I can get it.
Almost perfect. That was
Almost
just sheer luck.
perfect.
That had nothing to do with planning.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm just going
You know
to
what?
suck this
Yeah,
baby up
I
and put it in there because it's
There-
working.
yeah.
I did it this many times. It's perfect. And it is important in an experiment that it's to be reproducible and do over and over again, that you do exactly the same amount each time. This is a demonstration though, so while we say that, this is close enough.
This is
It's
demonstration
within
in
1 or
limited
2
time.
drops. Yeah, 1 or 2 drops. Okay.
Very, very, very close.
Yes.
And we're going to reuse the pipette so you can just
Okay. Lay
throw it down.
Okay.
And then we're going to, there are numbers on the wells. Do you want to match the
Oh,
wells to the number of drops?
Yes, let's do that. Sure.
So
So
we're going to
we're-
use the pipette again.
So I'm going to clean it in this because I'm not drinking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
Can I
t-
clean it? Should I clean it?
If you want.
Does it matter? Does it not matter?
It kind of doesn't matter.
Good.
Because
It doesn't matter. I'm not
the
carrying.
salt water can kind of
Okay.
rinse it.
So wait, where's one? One's up here. Okay.
Yeah, we need
One,
some baby eyes on this, which
2,
are
no
not
kidding.
mine.
At least I have glasses. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then I'm going to start the timer because we're
1,
going
2, 3, 4, 5.
to let that go for 4 minutes-ish so that it kind of starts to work on, we want the salt, or the salt.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't know how the salt's inhibiting it, but we do know the salt might inhibit it.
Right.
Correct. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Okay. Whoops. And in terms of salt and you, I mean somebody. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 9, 10.
And in my class, we divided and conquered it, so we didn't,
Yes.
not everybody did 1 through 12 drops.
9, 10, 11. Sure. Somebody, other people.
Some people, did 0 through 3.
8, 9, 10. Okay, 11, 12. There we go.
Okay.
We have done it.
Yep, and
Okay.
now we're just going to give it a little bit of time to react. So, and were you going to say about what salt does in our bodies?
Oh, I was going to say,
Or the cells.
how would that be? Yeah, right. So, well, I think what salt does is it depends on the salt. So this is sodium chloride. This is salt that we're used to. We know what this is, because there's a salt is it's just a name for a metal and a non-metal together. Like there's potassium chloride and there's magnesium chloride, and there's a lot of salts. But this one is the one that you'd eat in potato chips. Yeah, and if you don't drink enough water or you become dehydrated, this can build up to bad amounts inside your body.
Right, and it causes water to leave the cells.
Yes, it does.
So they don't function as well, obviously. And once in a fit of rage, because the slug ate part of my angel trumpet, and I'd had enough. I put salt on it, which I would never do again.
Yeah, it's
I have a pretty strong stomach, and that was
hideous. They sort of melt in bubbles away.
Yeah,
it's
I would
horrific.
describe it as like imploding outward.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't know it was going to be quite that messy, and it was a large slug. It had done a lot of damage to one of my favorite plants.
Oh,
and
no.
I'd never again.
That was it.
Picking it up with a shovel, I kind of got the dry heaves.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Don't do that.
No, be careful.
But that's a good kind of illustration of what it can do in our cells. So we can, some salt is good for us.
Yes, yes.
But we basically created a situation where we have little teeny tiny organs and we're like really dosing them up with some salt.
With salt, exactly.
So
we're looking for bubbles, is that correct?
Not yet.
Oh.
Like right now we're just kind of letting it mix and mingle.
Okay.
So that it's going to have its effect.
Right, I get it.
When we're going to start looking for bubbles is when we actually we could start doing that right now.
Okay, let's do it.
So we're going to put hydrogen peroxide, 10 milliliters.
10.
And I pre-measured, so it's going to seem like we're just taking a wild guess.
Yeah.
But I pre-measured 10 milliliters goes right to the bottom of the paint.
Yes.
On the label.
Yes.
So I thought that, like, doing this 120,
start?
You can start.
Okay, good.
And that's kind of it's a spray top. So you could use the spray top or you could pour, and I brought you
spray might be good.
Spray could be fun.
Spray could be fun.
Spray
and
could be
good.
splashback.
Oh, yes.
But hydrogen peroxide isn't that dangerous to get on clothes or skin.
No, it is not.
Which is another reason this was great for 7th grade. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, you can gargle with this stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of control with this
good.
spray.
Oh my gosh, I can think of when I've been to the dentist and you want to clean your mouth. This is the stuff to use.
Yeah, my grandma used to do that, and the
Diluted.
dentist said she had the cleanest teeth of anyone he had ever met.
Go, Grandma. Okay. This is the third test tube being filled with 15 milliliters of
10.
The 10, I keep saying 15. Thank you for the reminder.
You could 15, I think, would be a little much when the reaction starts to go.
Oh, you're right.
Because there's a little bit of bubbling
coming out. Yeah.
It wouldn't ruin your experiment, I don't think.
No.
And these still have labels from
Oopsie.
some kids.
Yes. You can buy these online if you want test tubes. You probably can buy the test tube holder as well.
Yeah, actually, if you were going to do this at home, that is true. Like, you'd want to think about if you wanted to do it at home, you'd want to get the thinnest, tiniest little jar that you could possibly get.
Yes.
But you can buy test tubes for sure. I've even seen them at non-science stores as kind of a novelty item.
Oh, neat.
And they may not be made out of Pyrex, but for this experiment, it wouldn't matter.
No. Pyrex is really good with heat and not melting in high temperatures.
Yeah, and just temperature change in general.
Is right, cold and hot and not cracking, yeah.
Oh, and some of these are already bubbling, which might be an indicator that they didn't get that clean.
Oh, yeah.
There might be cells in them already.
That is always one of the limiting factors, is what's left over.
Especially when putting 7th graders in charge of cleaning.
Yes, right.
And actually, I mean, shout out to my 7th graders. They do a phenomenal job cleaning up, but this is kind of a specialty clean. You don't get a lot of practice.
It is, no. And there might be tiny little chunks that like to stick.
For sure.
Okay, so I'm on the last test tube now.
Okay, I'm holding
Hooray
one.
with 10 mils.
So you're on the second to the last.
Oh, second to the last.
Good technique. You're going right to the paint.
Okay, good. I am. Hey, speaking of right to the paint, the Warriors beat I almost called them the Grizzlies, but that was the other team. They beat oh my God, help me out.
I don't watch sports. I
okay,
cannot
that's fine.
help.
It's all right. It's 3-1.
I can't even. I'm lucky. I know that the Warriors are basketball. All right. So now we've definitely surpassed our 4 minutes, so we're good to go.
Okay.
So we got to get ready because we want to capture
Preparing
as
ourselves.
much of the oxygen as we can and not let it escape out of the
So
test
we have to
tube.
have these ready.
We have to have the balloons ready,
Balloons ready.
to
Do we need to stretch
roll.
the balloons?
I didn't.
Okay, then fine. Good. That's great. All
And
right.
if you're doing this at home, I would recommend balloons that are approximately 2 inches wide by the 4 inches. So like the typical party balloons.
Here.
Like the bigger size, not the real
Yes,
skinny ones, but
yes.
those would work too.
Yes.
Just make sure, like Pam said earlier, that whatever you do, you maintain that consistency. And there would be a lot of extensions that you could do on this experiment. Would heat inhibit the reaction? Would cooling down the solution inhibit the reaction?
Changing the temperature, which is enzymes that we're going to mimic here, it's very important to them to be the right temperature.
Right. It's another reason like fevers are problematic when we're sick. And we feel bad when we're sick, mostly because of the reactions that are occurring inside of our bodies.
And our body's trying to make us just slow down so that they can kill whatever the virus or the bacteria.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's the plan.
Okay, here's the plan.
I'm going to check my procedure just to be sure.
Okay. Always
But
good.
we're going to add 3 drops of each from each well into one test tube. So because we could label the test tubes 1 through 12,
Okay.
or we could have a method to our madness.
Method madness.
I do have a pencil handy.
Sweet.
But if you just want to do them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Yeah. Just straight across.
yeah.
All right.
So we're going to put 3 drops from our spot plate.
Okay.
So this has our salt solution
Yes.
and our liver homogenate.
Yes.
Into the test tubes, and as quickly as humanly possible without spilling stuff,
Okay.
we're going to put a balloon on top, and I am also going to simultaneously start the timer.
Okay. And because it's for you guys maybe like left to right, which is for us right to left, I'll start with SB1.
Okay,
And you said 3 drops, correct?
3 drops.
Okay. And so 1 is 1 and 3 drops in 1. Okay.
Okay.
And then 3 drops of 2 in 2, correct?
Correct.
How fast should I go? Not that fast, because you wait till you get the balloon on.
As fast as I can put the balloon on.
Okay, I got it. Okay, hold on. Oh, geez, that's too much. All right, that's all right. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, here we go, here we go.
Okay, nice.
And then I'm gonna maybe move that over so
Okay,
the camera can
good.
see. I'm gonna start the timer so
Good.
we can
Sweet.
kind of get in class. We graphed the reaction. So we were trying to see if there was if we were treating salt as like a medication, we were trying to see if there was an optimum dose. Not too much, not too little. So we were talking about medical research and how they start to develop medications and then how they test.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. 1, 2, 3.
And it ends up being, I'm gonna make sure that we can capture the gas.
Okay.
And then maybe before you do that one,
Yes?
if you wanna, I put that onto low. One of the things you'd be able to notice if you were doing this at home is you can see, not right away, but you'll be able to see in the column of the test tube where the reaction is occurring. It'll start to look more cloudy and actually feel near the top.
Oh, yeah, neat. It's warmer.
Yeah, it's warmer. So there's heat being released in this chemical reaction.
Cool.
And so when I'm going to stop the timer is actually and you can't really tell, it's not dramatic, but it is starting to
Fill.
It is starting to fill.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that it has the room.
Yes.
Ooh, I like our color combination
Very
so
pretty.
far.
Very nice.
Very nice.
1,
That's also luck. I'll try to do the rainbow. Oh, and I'm being
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
being distracted by the
By the
colors.
colors.
And actually in 7th grade, I took all the same colors so no one would argue.
Oh, yeah, good.
All right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I think I did 3, but that's okay.
And just so if you're wondering how we are time-wise, we are only 2 minutes in.
Okay.
And we're going to stop the timer or kind of make note of the time for each one. when the balloon starts to have enough oxygen in it to stand up on its own. And this one doesn't, but.
Okay, we're going up. Yes.
Oh, that one's really going.
Boy, it is. Must be increasing the concentration.
And yeah, wow.
Oh dear, it's gonna go over.
Okay, color. I want purple next. I'm doing the color of the rainbow.
Nice.
That is a completely unnecessary step.
But it makes it fun.
Yeah,
And fun
totally.
is important.
And it's a good visual when we're doing a demo.
It is, it is.
Okay, I'll do pink next. I'm going rogue. And what we found at school is actually this reaction took a while. I mean,
Okay.
to fill the balloon.
Okay.
It's starting to react right now, but in order to fill the balloon, and so like if there's a little bit of oxygen building up in like the stem of the balloon, so.
Yes.
And looks like I'm almost out of balloons for the year.
No. Well, we got
We've
more.
used them for
We
lots
have
of stuff.
We have more. Here's pretty other colors.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Do we have any green?
Yeah, no. I wish. We do not. We have orange. But yeah, but you already got. Okay. 1, 2. Okay.
Okay, let's do
Yes.
let's do a pearl one.
Oh, pearl. Pearl, nice.
All right, get that one over there. So how many drops are we on now?
We're on the
Or what dosage of salt?
2, 3. We're on the 11.
Okay, so we're getting into the higher dosage
High
of
doses
salt.
of salt. Okay.
And then we're just gonna have some wait
I
time.
think did you want to put space between these?
Yeah, we could space
Good.
them.
No, that's good. Okay. And our last. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
We'll do an orange.
All right.
I'm gonna move that. Okay, so now we're just waiting. You got any jokes?
No, I'm really bad with jokes.
Me too, I can never
I'm
remember.
horrible. Never remember. No.
I never remember. So like this one's starting to kind of fill.
Oh, yes.
You can,
I can feel the gas. This is oxygen gas because hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, is breaking down into water and oxygen, like Jody said.
and then I'm noticing this one.
Oh, wait, you
Has-
said to stir.
Oh,
Helps.
actually stirring you don't want to stir because it's hard to stay consistent.
Don't do that.
So if
No, I just did that and don't do it.
we need all the examples.
I need them all. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, if you tap on your test tube, you actually dislodge. I mean, and it's hard to stay consistent
that-
from
yes.
test tube to test tube if
Right.
you do that.
That's true.
So it's not a big problem, but if you really wanted, like if you were doing this for science fair or something, you'd want to be really super consistent. But you can see, like if the camera can zoom in, and you can feel the heat there.
Yeah, definitely.
So like in 8th grade, they start to talk about how do you know a chemical reaction is taking place. And one of the ways is like color change, but also you can see right in here where it's a little cloudier. That's where like a lot of the reaction is occurring.
And bubble production is another.
And the gas production,
Yes.
yeah, and so and there's a temperature change. So not that right here it's warm.
Yes.
So that's another indicator that there's
Some give off heat and others take in heat. And if they take in heat, then they feel cold. So the giving off heat is with a hot, warm.
right. And as we kind of watch, this reaction kind of moves down the column. So it's just
Oh, yeah. Neat.
yeah.
That's great.
So the directions say that when the balloon stands upright, which hopefully we'll have one
I think
that
we're getting
stands,
there.
maybe
This is
we will
getting
start
close.
tapping on them.
Close.
Yeah, so we want like an upright, like basically a little inflated balloon. And then that's when we would actually stop the timer for each one. Or make note of the time, like we'd probably record the time. And then you could graph and you would get a predictable curve that would show you if this was like a medication, for example. You get a predictable curve where, because you want to maximize the benefit.
Yes.
and minimize the side effects, of course, if you're dosing cells with some kind of medication.
Right.
So that's kind of what we were kind of looking at in 7th grade with this.
Neat.
Is the dose, which is called a dose response curve.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah.
Cool, and that's important for measuring how poisonous something is as well.
Right.
Super important. I mean, knowing a medicine, and at some point, if you took too many aspirin, say,
Yeah.
which is a good medicine, it can turn bad.
Yeah, and we were talking about chemotherapy.
Oh my gosh.
How, you know, it has clear benefits for someone,
Yes.
but it also has some very serious side effects that are pretty hard to cope with, actually.
Yes.
So
yes.
maybe we do want to tap them and
Okay.
dislodge some of our bubbles so we can
Dislodge
get our...
bubbles. Dislodge bubbles.
Yeah. And you shouldn't have to do this, but you'll have to be patient.
We're doing it now so that we get good.
So, and you can see that there's like gas accumulating in the balloon. The other thing you could do if you were doing this on your own is make sure that the balloon is slid
Yes, properly.
way down, which is kind of hard to do when you first stretch them out.
Nice.
And you know, surprisingly, that would have been if this was 1, 2, 3 drops. And looks like 3 drops is kind of
The good one. The one producing the most, yes.
it seems to be the most
Yes,
productive.
Yes. And the catalase is speeding the reaction up, so it goes faster, and that's why we had, is this acting? No, this is breaking it down.
Yeah, so the hydrogen peroxide is kind of the
Right.
thing that we want to
The
get
thing that
rid
we
of.
want to get rid of, so we're breaking it down in the reaction. And then in terms of the enzyme.
Well, enzymes, as you know, are
Speed up.
catalysts.
Yes.
And so some of the reactions that we need to take place in our body, if we didn't have enzymes, would take days, hours, weeks, and we
Right.
need them to happen within
Yes.
seconds
Yes.
to maintain our health.
That's with snakes too. They lay out in the sun, and lizards lay out in the sun to speed up their reaction, the metabolism. Yeah, because they're swallowing things whole.
Right.
It's crazy.
Really
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I had a snake with my weed whacker.
Oh no!
And
A
it had
garter
a
snake?
wound, yeah.
Oh.
And I hope it's okay.
Yeah, I hope it is too. But if it isn't, it'll be part of the food chain and the food web and all that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, there'll be some animal that.
Benefits.
Yeah, a hawk probably.
I felt horrible.
I know, it's a horrible
I
thing.
still feel bad. It was like over a month
It's
ago.
hard too. The grass is so high now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is a really neat experiment, and I appreciate you sharing this. This is really cool.
Yeah, thank you for
neat.
helping today.
Absolutely, and yeah, if you guys, science is really neat because I mean, one of the things is it can tell you how things work and show you how we learn new information.
Right, and that's what we were hoping to do with this is like how do researchers study medication in cells?
Yes, yes,
So we'll be back on Thursday
yes, we will.
with
Gil Klein, who is a former music professor at Humboldt State, and we're going to be playing some music. He is going to be playing music, and we're going to get to play with him. I mean,
Awesome.
yeah, it should be fun.
yeah, sounds great. Can't wait.
Yeah, me either.
Thank you for watching.
Bye, guys.
We will
Awesome.
see you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.